The deliberate suppression of knowledge and education is a serious issue that can have long-lasting effects on a country's population. Unfortunately, there are still countries where the government deliberately keeps their populations ignorant, or even uses methods to dumb them down, like the use of fluoride. In this video, we will explore some of the countries that engage in these practices. Number 1. North Korea. I'm half Korean, so North Korea. North Korea is known for its strict control over information and education. The state controls all media outlets and censors any and all information that is deemed to be critical of the regime. The education system is also heavily controlled, with students being taught only what the government wants them to know. All of the schools are essentially indoctrination systems. They're, brainwashing camps. North Korea as a whole is a brainwashing, re-education camp. Most totalitarian states call them over camps. As a result, the population is largely ignorant of the outside world and the true nature of not only their government, but of everything. To include what year it is, because their calendar starts on a real son's birthday, not the birth of the North Korean pariah police state. Number 2. Communist China. China has a long history of controlling information and education. The government highly censors the internet and media and controls what is taught, not only in schools, but what people are allowed to say, even in private. The education system is also heavily focused on rote memorization rather than critical thinking and creativity. And they don't want creative thinking at all, or critical thinking, because then their whole regime, not only would its power just go away, but its survival depends upon China, anybody on earth that is subject to Marxist totalitarian philosophies, is to get you to not think for yourself. And one way you could surrender your right to be an individual or to just think for yourself, one way you could surrender that is by giving it to the government, giving your right to think for yourself away. And you give it to them by surrendering it with the notion that you're too dumb to think for yourself, too reckless to think for yourself, too irresponsible, too naive. And you buy these things with terms like political correctness, which is not an organized system of lying to protect people's feelings. It's an organized system of lying to rob you of your ability to think for yourself to your face. As a result, the population, to include populations like yours, are largely totally ignorant of the world outside of what they're being told. Think about it. You don't know anything really outside of what you either watched through a screen or read that was printed by someone else of someone else's experience or perception. Like, you can receive the traumas to a degree of experiences from other people, and those are manipulated into getting you to live on. I mean, if you think North Korea is like a microcosm of like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village, these totalitarian societies are all over the place, and we're allowed to know about them. But guess what? You live in a totalitarian society of Earth. Oh, country number 3. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is known for its strict control over information and education, particularly for women. Women are not allowed to attend school or university without the permission of a male guardian, and the education system is heavily focused on religious studies. Women were just given the right to fucking drive in Saudi Arabia. Okay? Let that sink in. The government also censors any information that is deemed to be critical of the regime, the kingdom, or the Islamic faith, or at least Sunni. And number 4, Iran. You know, the word Iran means Aryan in Farsi, which is the language of the Persians. Iran is known for its strict control over information and education, particularly for women. Women are not allowed to attend certain universities or study certain subjects, and the education system is heavily focused on religious studies. Let's be real, it's not religion either. It's a spiritual pathology that they've got going on. The government also censors any information that is deemed to be critical of the regime or the Islamic faith. Mainly, the revolution that they sparked in Lebanon, Hezbollah, and, shit they've got going on all over the world, funding terrorism. It's not going to use Islam for their theocracy, which, I'm not going to get into right now. In conclusion, the deliberate suppression of knowledge and education is a serious issue that can have long-lasting effects on a country's population. North Korea, China, Saudi Arabia, and Iran are all countries that engage in these practices. It is important for governments and international organizations to work together to promote education and freedom of information, and to ensure that all people have access to the knowledge they need to make informed decisions about their lives and their governments. Click like, share, and subscribe and comment. I subscribe with a suggestion for a topic, or whatever you want to say.